You spent years in school, maybe more than a decade, learning things you were told you'd need: history, literature, mathematics, science, important subjects, real knowledge. But somewhere in all those years, in all those classrooms, in all those textbooks, nobody taught you one thing: how money actually works. Not how to earn it, not how to spend it, not how to save it, how it actually works, how wealth is built, how financial freedom is achieved, how the system operates, and who it operates for. And that gap, that deliberate, consistent, generational gap, is not an accident. It is the trap, the one that catches almost everyone, the one that starts before you're old enough to notice. And by the time you're old enough to see it, you're already inside it. This video is about that trap, what it is, how it works, and how you get out. Think about what school taught you. Work hard, get good grades, go to university, get a degree, find a stable job, keep that job, save a little, retire eventually. That's the financial curriculum. Unofficial, unwritten, but consistent across almost every school, every country, every generation. And none of it is wrong exactly. Working hard matters, education matters, employment matters. But here's what's missing: what to do with the money once you earn it, how to make it grow, how to build something that doesn't require your presence, how to move from earning to owning, from working to building, from surviving to accumulating. None of that is in the curriculum, and it's not because teachers don't care. It's because the system wasn't designed to produce wealthy individuals. It was designed to produce productive employees, people who show up, who follow instructions, who contribute to someone else's system, and who spend what they earn, keeping the economy moving, not building personal wealth, moving money. There's a difference, and school never told you. Let's put a number on this. The average person starts earning at 22. They retire at 65. That's 43 years of income. If they earn an average of $45,000 a year, that's $1,935,000 over their career. Nearly $2 million. Now here's what happens to that money. Without financial education, without understanding how money works, without a system, roughly 93% of it disappears. Into housing, into food, into transport, into lifestyle, into things that don't build, leaving less than $150,000 at retirement, from nearly $2 million earned. Now here's what financial education changes, even basic financial knowledge. Understanding compound interest, understanding assets versus liabilities, understanding how to deploy income. Studies show that financially literate individuals retire with 25% to 40% more wealth than those without that knowledge, not because they earned more, because they kept more and grew what they kept. The cost of not knowing is not abstract. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars from the same career, the same income, the same life, just different knowledge. First objection: schools have limited time. They can't teach everything. Financial education is a parent's responsibility. And this is partially fair. Schools do have constraints. Curriculum decisions are complex. Not everything can be included. But here's what I want you to consider. Every student in most countries learns about the French Revolution, about photosynthesis, about the periodic table, about Shakespeare. Important? Yes. More important than understanding money? The thing every single person will deal with, every day for their entire adult life. The thing that determines their stress levels, their options, their freedom, their health, their relationships. Money touches everything, and we teach it to nobody. That's not a curriculum constraint. That's a choice. And understanding it as a choice, rather than an oversight, is the beginning of taking responsibility for your own financial education. Here are the 3 most important things that almost no school teaches. Thing 1. The difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. Simple. But almost nobody learns this explicitly. So they spend their lives accumulating liabilities, thinking they're building wealth. A car is a liability. An investment is an asset. A house you live in is more complicated than people think. Thing 2. How compound interest works, not the formula, the feeling, the reality of what it means. When something grows by a percentage of itself, year after year, $10,000 at 8% for 30 years becomes $100,627. Not because you added money, because money grew on top of money. On top of money. That concept changes how you see every financial decision, but almost nobody learns it viscerally until it's too late to fully use it. Thing 3. The difference between income and wealth. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays and grows. Most people focus entirely on increasing income, without any plan for what happens to it after it arrives. So it arrives and leaves every month for decades. These 3 concepts, learned early, change everything. Learned late, they still change things, but less dramatically, because time is the variable that matters most, and time is the one thing school never told you was running out. Second objection. I'm already in my 30s. Or 40s. I missed the window. Starting now won't make enough difference. This is one of the most damaging beliefs a person can hold, because it's wrong, and it keeps people from starting. Here's the math. If you start at 35 with $0 and invest $400 a month at 8% return, by 65, you have $587,000. Not the same as starting at 25, but not nothing either. $587,000 from zero. Started at 35. In fact, the people who learn financial principles later in life often apply them more seriously, because they feel the urgency, because they've seen the cost of not knowing, because they don't have the luxury of assuming there's time to waste. Starting late is not ideal, but starting late is infinitely better than not starting. And the belief that it's too late is itself part of the trap that keeps people inside it, by convincing them the exit doesn't apply to them. It does, at any age. Here's what makes this trap so effective. It doesn't just create ignorance, it creates dependence. When you don't know how money works, you depend on others to handle it. Banks, employers, government systems, financial institutions, and all of those systems are designed primarily for their own benefit, not yours. Banks profit from your deposits. Employers profit from your labor. Financial institutions profit from your fees. None of them have a primary interest in your financial freedom. They have a primary interest in your continued participation. In their system, your spending, your borrowing, your dependence. And when you don't understand money, you participate without knowing the terms. You borrow at rates you don't fully calculate. You invest in products you don't fully understand. You pay fees you didn't know existed. You accept terms that benefit the other party more than you. Not because you're foolish, because nobody taught you to ask the right questions. And the right questions are the beginning of getting out. Last objection, and the most defeatist one. The system is rigged against regular people. The wealthy have advantages I don't have. There's no point trying to beat a rigged game. And parts of this are true. There are structural advantages that wealth creates. There are systemic inequalities that make things harder for some people. Acknowledging that is not weakness, it's accuracy. But here's the question that matters. Does understanding the disadvantages help you improve your position, or does it justify staying where you are? Because both are options. You can spend energy documenting the unfairness, or you can spend energy building within whatever space you have. Neither choice changes the system, but one changes your position within it. The people who build financial stability, despite starting from behind, are not ignoring the inequalities. They're building anyway, with what they have, in the time they have, using the knowledge they're gaining, not because the game is fair, because playing is better than watching. School didn't teach you, but you can teach yourself. 3 starting points. Starting point 1. Learn the basics of assets and liabilities. Read 1 book on the subject. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. 1 book, not 10, just 1. And apply what you learn immediately, before reading the next one. Starting point 2. Calculate your real financial position, not your salary. Your net position. What you own minus what you owe. That number is your actual starting point, and knowing it clearly is the first step to changing it. Starting point 3. Build 1 financial habit this month. 1 automatic transfer. 1 investment account opened. 1 subscription canceled and redirected. 1 small system started. Not 10. 1. Because 1 habit built is worth more than 10 habits planned. The trap works through inaction. The exit requires only 1 step in the right direction. Here's what school should have taught you. Money is a system. Like any system, it rewards those who understand it, and it takes from those who don't. You weren't taught how it works. That wasn't your fault. But staying ignorant of it now, when the information exists, when the tools exist, when the starting point is 1 decision away, that part is a choice, and choices have consequences. The people building financial freedom right now are not smarter than you. They're not luckier. They just decided to learn what school didn't teach them. And then they started, imperfectly, slowly, but consistently. You can do the same. The trap is real, but so is the exit. The system is simple. Learn it. Use it. The decision is yours.